They fired a taser at my wife, right there in our own driveway. She collapsed into the flower bed we planted for her father's memory, and Colleen, the HOA president, just stood there smirking like she'd won. What Colleen didn't know was that Lana, my wife, wasn't just another neighbor to push around. She's a police captain. And that taser strike, that was the spark that set everything on fire. My name's James. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a cop, but I spent 15 years as a municipal code compliance officer. I've testified in hearings that shut down whole subdivisions. I know the playbook because I helped write it. And Colleen, she forgot who she was messing with. When we moved into Silver Pines Lakeside, we thought we were buying peace. A house by the water, a porch swing where Lana could recover from surgery, a little strip of green we could actually call ours. But the place turned into a lab experiment for control. Colleen Durrett, the self-crowned queen of the HOA, thrived on power. She fined neighbors for a wooden duck on the porch. She wrote violations for flags not perfectly centered. And when it came to us, she wanted that swing gone 3 inches too far into the so-called uniformity zone. 3 inches. That was her excuse to break us down. I could tolerate the pettiness. I'd seen it before. But the day she fired that taser changed everything. Lana hit the ground hard, twitching, whispering through clenched teeth. Did she just really do it? Yes, she did. And while neighbors hid behind curtains too scared to interfere, Colleen fled the scene. HOA security sat across the street in a black SUV dash cam blinking red. I saw it. Let the lens record, I thought. Let it capture who really pulled the trigger. That night, while Lana lay in the hospital, Colleen had already posted a violation notice on our mailbox. Civil trespass privileges suspended effective immediately. No bylaw reference, no legal citation, just bold capital letters typed by her own hand. Then came the smear campaign. On the community app, Colleen uploaded a clipped video cropped to make Lana look like the aggressor. No taser shot, no context, just a frozen frame of my wife, mid-fall mouth open, painted as hostile. Optics over truth. That was Colleen's specialty. I won't lie, part of me wanted to give up. I stared at that notice at the app full of neighbors whispering, and I thought maybe it's not worth it. Maybe I should sell leave, just escape the madness. Colleen had the board, the policies, the perception. And me, I was just the disgruntled homeowner. For one night I let that hopelessness sink in. But then I remembered Lana's words in the hospital. This won't define us. And something inside me shifted. I knew the truth. I knew how to fight. The first crack appeared when HOA security, the new guy, Mark Reyes, started avoiding eye contact. He'd been in that SUV the day of the taser. Marine Corps background hired because Colleen wanted someone less by the book. I confronted him. He wouldn't speak, just clenched the wheel. But the next morning a brown envelope showed up on my porch. No signature, just a USB drive and a sticky note. I didn't sign up to cover crimes. Inside was the unedited footage. The taser, the fall, the whole truth. And a screen recording Colleen herself trimming the video before uploading it. That was the twist. I wasn't alone anymore. See? Colleen thought she controlled the narrative, but she overlooked something bigger, the doc. Her pride and joy. A community extension her cousin built without permits, with electrical wiring that could turn a rainstorm into an electrocution. I'd flagged it months ago anonymously. She retaliated with petty fines. Now I had more than her lies, I had her negligence. So I pulled out my drone rig, launched it over the pavilion, and captured everything exposed. Conduits, spliced feeds. No GFCI shutoffs. Power rerouted illegally from municipal transformers. It wasn't just sloppy, it was criminal. And I broke the evidence into parts, filed complaints with different city departments, safety, utilities, insurance. A trickle strategy, not a scream. Enough to trigger inspections that couldn't be buried. Colleen panicked. She backdated policies, wrote a new Rule 27A about unruly conduct, dated it 2 weeks earlier, and locked us out of every amenity pool pavilion, even the walking path. It didn't matter. I'd seen forgery like that before, and the city had the real records. Still, the isolation stung. Neighbors stopped waving. People crossed the street when they saw us. I started doubting again, was this really worth it? But every time Lana brought me back. She didn't want casseroles or pity. She wanted justice. And for once I realized I did too. Mark came through again. Another envelope, another flash drive. This time security logs doctored under Colleen's login. He'd had enough quit on the spot. Even Jacob Vance, the HOA treasurer, slipped me a memo warning that Colleen was falsifying financials to cover the dock expenses. One by one, her own circle was breaking. The city moved fast once the evidence hit. Inspectors confirmed every violation. A bright orange placard, "Stop Work, Unsafe Site," was slapped across the pavilion entrance. Colleen didn't even acknowledge it. Instead, she called an emergency community safety meeting promising to clear up misinformation. Translation: one last performance to keep her grip on power. That night she stood on the dock with a microphone binder in hand, pretending nothing was wrong. 30 neighbors gathered, confused, tense. The orange sign flapped behind her like a scarlet flag she refused to see. She talked about misinformation and personal vendettas. She even glanced my way, daring me to challenge her. I stepped forward with no microphone, just a folder. "Then you won't mind if I read the violation report aloud?" The crowd went silent. I handed copies of the city's stop work order to residents in the front. They passed them back, eyes widening. Unpermitted electrical work, unsafe junctions, power rerouted illegally from city transformers, fines up to $5,000 a day if it stayed live. Colleen's smile cracked. She called it unconfirmed. I didn't argue. I just set up my small projector, aimed it at the pavilion wall, and hit play. First came the raw dash cam video. Lana standing still, Colleen yelling, the taser firing. No edits. Then the screen recording of Colleen trimming the footage herself, timestamp and login visible. "This is doctored," she shouted. "You already doctored it," I shot back. "You posted the edited version yourself." The crowd murmured. Then Mark stepped out of the shadows, pulled off his cap, and said clear as day I was ordered to lie. I didn't. That was it. No more smokescreens, no more fear. Jacob Vance stepped up, HOA bylaws in hand, and called for an emergency vote of no confidence. In cases of documented criminal conduct, a simple majority is enough, he read. Hands went up. 70%. Colleen froze, binder limp at her side, color draining from her face. She tried to protest, but no one listened. One by one, the board walked away. She was done. And I didn't wait for her to resign. I didn't need to. The evidence, the vote, the city's order, they all spoke louder than I ever could. Colleen had built her empire on fear, on fake rules and manipulated optics. But in the end, all it took was the truth displayed in front of the people she thought she controlled to bring it crashing down. That night, as the storm rolled in over the lake, I stood on the path watching the crowd disperse. No cheers, no applause, just silence heavy with realization. Colleen's reign was over. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Bullies can rewrite rules, crop footage, and shout over the truth, but sooner or later, evidence always wins.